The death toll from Queensland's flood disaster now stands at 11, with police divers recovering the body of a woman on the Gold Coast. 1 week after floodwaters started swallowing parts of the southeast, the Mud Army has swung into action. More than 15,000 volunteers mobilised to help with the monumental clean-up.
At first light, they assembled in their thousands, converging at all corners of the river city, ready for an almighty clean-up mission.
Rip off carpets, push the mud away, support moving furniture everywhere as well. So I don't care, whatever I can help with.
We're all ready to get down and get dirty by the looks of things.
Today is one of those pivotal moments where you get to see what a city is made of.
Delayed by storms but not deterred, the Mud Army piled onto buses deployed to Brisbane's hardest hit suburbs.
I can't even imagine what they're going through, losing everything in their house, and I'm sort of almost frightened of what we might see today.
A grim reality awaited. Street after street, a distressing sight. Footpaths lined with cherished belongings, all bound for the tip. Strangers rallied in the muddied backyard of Naomi Hewitt's home at Fairfield.
It's fantastic. Like, so many beautiful people out there that are willing to help.
In Oxley, the scale of the destruction is overwhelming. Belongings are piled high. But it's matched by the kindness on display. Volunteers clearing mess and handing out supplies.
So there's some kebab in there.
Andrew Ziggy Schmees was rescued by the SES as the torrent engulfed his house. He lost everything.
40 years of driving trucks were gone.
Volunteers from a nearby church spent the day doing the back-breaking work he couldn't. Could you have done it without them?
No. I had back surgery in November.
People have stopped their plans and put that to the side and gone, we need to get in here and help out and do whatever's needed.
Before more firepower arrived to hose out the mud. Across the region, community groups and sporting clubs have been smashed by this flood. Here at these netball courts, an army of volunteers has descended to clear away the mud and try to get life back to normal. The race is on to get teams back on court at Downey Park.
And it's getting done pretty quickly because everyone's here. Yeah, we've made lots of progress. Yeah.
Saturdays would normally be spent playing football for these kids at Mitchelton.
Really means a lot to me. We need to clean this up fast so we can get soccer going again.
A city united in the worst of times. Emma Pollard, ABC News, Brisbane.
Frustrations are growing in many communities badly hit by the flooding. In some areas, victims have been relying on the efforts of strangers and say they're angry they haven't seen much government support. Elizabeth Cramsey reports.
At Goodness Services Club,
just the water level here.
The damage runs deep.
I'm not willing to estimate now, but I can tell you it's well over $2 million.
And has dredged up painful memories.
Last time it took us 18 months. After 2011, it took us 18 months from the flood to reopening.
It's estimated 500 homes across Ipswich have been damaged. Dozens of residents are still at evacuation centres. In Tivoli, this community centre is throwing open its doors, offering food.
The cafe running as a community cafe, offering free meals to the Mud Army and to families impacted by the flood in the evenings.
And a break from reality.
We're actually running drive-in movies here on Saturday afternoon, evening, and so families can also take some time out from the floods.
It's also coordinating a donation centre.
This time just helping them set up their homes with, if they've lost everything again, it's just the heartbreak of it all.
The Logan Cricket Ground won't have a usable turf block until summer.
Queensland Cricket have been very good. They had 3 representatives here today.
Many hands make light work, and that's certainly been the case here in Waterford. But other communities say they haven't been quite so lucky.
We applaud the emergency services that are there. They're doing an amazing job, but there is just not enough of them.
Locals have organised this makeshift distribution centre, providing supplies for families from Currumbin to Ballina and everywhere in between.
We are driving in convoys the supplies to get as close as we can. The helicopters are then landing, filling and flying out to those affected areas.
Where choppers can't reach, hikers can.
You're loading guys up with massive pallets of water, food, and they are hiking 7-8 kilometres into locations that can't be accessed right now.
Others mobilised on personal boats.
We came up and just realised the carnage that was taking place, and we pulled as many people out of the water as we can.
Organisers say they've had to step up due to a lack of government support.
I don't understand how citizens can arrange helicopters, but I don't see many government ones. I'm sure they're there, but there's definitely not enough.
Elizabeth Cramsey, ABC News, Logan.
Thousands of Queenslanders have found themselves suddenly displaced. With flood damage keeping them out of their homes, some will need a long-term solution in a housing market that was already at crisis point.
Cass Thurston and her family are among the thousands of Queenslanders cleaning up. Their Graceville rental had floodwaters through the second floor.
The house is probably a write-off because the walls are all swollen, the kitchen's completely destroyed and bathrooms. So we're very, very fortunate we have family we can live with.
They were facing a search for a new rental property.
Us and thousands of others, so anyway, that's okay. You know, we're alive, everyone's safe.
But within days, they instead decided to stay with family for the next year or so, knowing it's a tough rental market.
We do know that there will be large numbers of people who can't safely go home, maybe for the short term, maybe for the longer term.
It's too soon to know exactly how many homes have been damaged and how long they might take to repair.
There is almost zero rental availability across the state, and it is particularly acute in areas like Gympie, Maryborough, Sunshine Coast and Gold Coast that have now been significantly impacted.
That's the distinguishing factor for this flood, so that's making it even harder than it would have been back in 2011 or some of the other floods and natural disasters that we've had to manage.
Tenants Queensland is already receiving calls from people looking for guidance.
People are really going to want to try to stay in place if they can, because they know if they have to leave the property, they're going to face this very difficult process of trying to find another property that suits their needs.
Advocates say the community needs to step up and help out.
If people have vacant properties or places for people to live, they need to come forward and provide those options to Queenslanders who are in absolute crisis.
The state government is already supporting nearly 250 flood-affected households in temporary accommodation, from Gympie and Maryborough down to Toowoomba, Greater Brisbane and the coasts.
You're right, it is very challenging. It was challenging even before the floods, and now taking thousands of properties out of our housing stock is going to make it even harder.
There's people worse off than us right now that don't have places to go and they're living out of evacuation centres. My heart goes out to them.
Emily Gramens, ABC News.